What's going on? My name's Roman and welcome to Roman Rose Collectible Coliseum. Now on today's episode, I'm bringing you my first ever Comic figure. This is the Comic Iron Man Mark 43 from Avengers Age of Ultron. Now, right away you can see the packaging is kind of small, but it's what's inside that counts. So let's go ahead and take a look at the outside of the box, and then we will get into this Comic Cave Studios Iron Man. So, I am so excited to finally have this in my hands. This has been on display at every Barnes & Noble in the area for a while. But now that I've actually gone to check to look for it, everybody is sold out. So at MSRP is for $99.99, and the secondhand market has this guy sitting around $130 to $150. So 30 to 50% markup is considerable. So to not pay secondhand price and to find this in-state local, I was super stoked, so happy, and absolutely worth the drive. All the way from Denver to Colorado Springs. It's really not that bad. It was snowing at the time, so it was a little treacherous, but you know what? So happy I can get my hands on this Comic Cave Studios Iron Man Mark 43 from Avengers Age of Ultron. Let's go ahead, check out the rest of the box. So, really quick, this is raised. There's some portions of his armor that are raised on the box. And it's really hard to tell. You might be able to see it there, but they feel really nice. So the helmet is raised, the gold. It's the gold parts. The gold parts are raised. So everywhere on this suit, when you rub over the gold, you feel texture, which is really cool because as you can see, it's mostly flat, but there's texture on the gold. Super nice. As you can see, I bumped the camera. As you can see, his eyes and chest are lit up, which is a feature of the figure. It says Omni Class 1/12 scale, so it's a 6-inch figure. Nice metallic writing right there. Alright, and then right here, Iron Man Mark 43, 75% die-cast metal, LED lights on the eyes and chest. It has more than 20 points of articulation. Playable. I don't know why they include that. Pose with other figures. I think that you could do that on your own. Mobile. Take it anywhere with you. I don't know why you would do that. I wouldn't take this many places, but I guess it means that the box makes it really easy to put away and take out. So this may be some of my favorite packaging ever. Right here you can see it says Barnes & Noble exclusive on that little shiny sticker, and right there we have a genuine product code. It says don't throw in the trash as it contains batteries. Very cool. This side, Omni-Class, same thing. Nothing on the top of the box, nothing on the bottom of the box. We do have this really nice cloth tab right here, so let's go ahead and open the cloth tab and get into the rest of the review. It is held together by some magnets. Right here it says Comic Cave Studios, Iron Man Mark 43. Really nice silver lettering right there. Let's go ahead and open it up. Just like the Mezco, I feel like Iron Man should have the space lock noise. Gosh, I keep bumping the camera. So let's check out what comes inside. So on the right side you have the figure itself. On the left side you have accessories. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 extra set of hands. You have 4 blast effects. You get 2 shoulder rocket launchers and 1 wrist rocket. So let's go ahead and take a look at the quick start guide, which is printed here on the inside of the packaging. So you here you have 1, 2, and then yeah, so it just says 1 and 2 right there. Where's 3 and 4? Oh, 3's up there with the hands, 4's over there with the hands. So you get numbers on everything, and then you get kind of an explanation down here. You get power, battery, interchangeable hands, short and long effects. Number 6 was hard to understand, but the shoulder pops out. It extends for more range. Number 7, the torso extends. Number 8, the hips extend. And number 9, the foot extends. So it just kind of tells you what goes where. The packaging is really nice. It's very thin. My hand is not a huge hand, but it's not a small hand. It's a very average sized hand, and it's, you know, it's smaller than, at least height-wise, it's smaller than my hand stretched out. So this is about cell phone size. So really nice. Let's go ahead and take a look at let's take a look at these accessories really quickly. I just want to go over the hands and just kind of what these things look like. So when opening the package, it's best to set it down flat and then to take a nail. I know it has this little punch out right here, but I don't feel comfortable using that. So I just take my nail and I pull it up, and you pull it up on both sides, and the whole window comes out. It's like a hard plastic window, not very bendy at all. And then let's take a look at some of what we have. So we have 4 different slots for hands. It's hard to see because it is a dark, spongy material, but I really like it. So the first set of hands are open palmed, and you get 2 sets of open palm hands, but the wrist is at different levels. So this wrist is kind of bent upwards. The other wrists, not so much. So let's take a look. This one are straight wrist clenched hands. See the fingers there are clenched. And these are fine hands. They don't hold anything, and the fingers are kind of funny, so I'm not entirely sure what these are for. I'd rather have some gripping hands just to put anything, just so you can hold whatever. These are hands that hold the blast effects. So you see no white in the middle of the palm. That's because there's a port. And there are ports on both hands. And this pair of open hands is more flat in the wrist. So like he's going out letter T with his arms. Flat wrist. This one has a bent wrist, and that took me forever to figure out that the wrist angles were different. I'm like, oh my gosh, they made a mistake. They sent me 2 of the same hand. But no, if you port them, one is flat and one is up. So that's fine. That's pretty dynamic, I guess. But just what we ended up with was 3 different open hands. We have open straight wrist, open port straight wrist, and then tilted wrist. So that was just, 3 of the same hand. And I get why you do one with ports and one without. But I didn't feel like we got bang for our buck there. That's to me kind of the same accessory. So you have 2 long blast effects. Those are for the feet, but this doesn't come with a stand. So I'm a little confused how you expect us to display this Comic Cave without a stand. Now, the sculpt on the blast effect and the coloring on the blast effect is really nice. Really, really nice. And you see it tapers off to white. And it's kind of hard to tell. You can't really show you a white background, but right here is where it ends, and right there is where the white starts. That is really cool. I do have some concerns putting them back in this box because the tip is like bending and breaking. So it's not, when it tapers off, it's not very strong. And I feel like maybe this one was put in the box hot, and so it just has kind of that perpetual bend. So just to show you the small blast effects, that's what those look like. And then here it is compared, let's compare 1 to 1 to a large blast effect. So you see it's actually much bigger. Height-wise, much bigger. Looks a lot better too. I like the bigger blast effects, but I like all the blast effects. So let's go ahead and take a look at the figure. We're going to go ahead and get him out here. Where is this guy? Right there we go. My window is a little dirty just because this is the one that I open more often. I really don't mess with the accessories too much, and I'm going to explain why here in a second. I'm actually going to put this back on this side so we can lift it up without everything falling out, because Iron Man does stay in his side of the case. If you decide to take the plastic off, he kind of wedges in there. So that's kind of nice. At the same time, it does add just a small degree of difficulty to bring him out of the package, so I have to really like grip around the waist and seriously wiggle. Come on, there we go. And as you can see, he kind of got an arch in his back, which I don't love that. So I'm gonna lay this here. We're actually gonna push that off to the side. You can see it a little bit. Right. Nope, you can still see it. All right, we're just gonna get rid of it all together. And then move this back here. Okay. Right out of the box, this thing feels really nice. This is the Comic-Cave Iron Man Mark 43 diecast 6-inch figure. The articulation is 20 plus points. I love the articulation on this figure. It leaves really nothing to be desired. I mean, Iron Man's not going to be doing too many like crazy dynamic poses. The metallic paint job on this is insane. It looks so good, like a deep cherry red. Oh my gosh, this thing is incredible. It feels really nice in hand too. It feels cold. It feels heavy. It feels like metal. This is a 6-inch figure, but it comes off like a 6-inch Hot Toy. It really does. So let's go over some articulation. First off, the ankle extends. You pull the ankle out and it exposes the ball joint and you get extra range. There is a toe joint right here, and this one's really, really stiff. That one, not at all. So there is, in fact, a toe joint. Now, when you pull the ankles out, you get this flap right here in the front. You also get a flap right here in the back, and both sides have that. So these little like flight panels. So that's really cool that those pop up, but that's not all. You also get the back of the calf as flight panels. So there's one on each side of the back of the calf, and you just prop them up like that. And so far, the leg has all kinds of flight panels. It actually looks really nice that you can lift all of that up and expose it. I know that that looks a little peggy right there, but you dress it a lot better. So these two calf panels are open, and you can see that there's some really nice detail there inside of the leg, underneath the panel. If you lift that panel up again, you can see all the detail in there. Really nicely sculpted. Same thing on that side, as well as this side right here. So you just pull these panels up. Very nice sculpt work in there. Same thing on this side. And sometimes the panels can be hard to open, so I have to open them from the back of the calf just because there's a little bit of gappage right there, and you can get your finger worked in. So really cool how this is now part of the deal. Yeah, so I like that a lot. Moving up the leg, I'm just going to close these panels for now. Know that they're there. Please know that they're there. Moving up the leg, the sculpt work continues throughout the knee, which is super impressive. So that you close the knee and you have a straight leg there, and it looks great. It looks fine. The paint application is spot on. Mark 43 is one of my favorite models of the suit, and this just absolutely knocks it out of the park. So there is independent movement in this leg, so you can move this portion right here, and that's about as much movement as you get before you do have to move that upper knee joint. There is sculpt work all through there, and it looks really good. The sculpt work in there is so nice. That is a complete figure. You see it right there in the back of the knee, and it looks the same as it does in the front of the knee. So I don't think that there's a better scenario as far as sculpt work. You see the extended hip right there? It goes up, it comes down, it's just on a ball peg. I could probably snap the leg off really easily if I tried, but I don't want to. You see there's just a ball joint right there, which allows for really good fluid movement of the leg. There's also this upper thigh swivel. I know it's kind of hard to see, but as you can tell right there, the silver part's not moving. You see that red line's not moving? And the upper thigh is moving. So if you want, you can have that joint in and rotate that leg outwards. So there's actually really good articulation on this figure. The only thing I don't like about that, and in particular, is this edge right here. Is this edge on both sides has been chipping into the paint a little bit. Being a die-cast figure, this thing's going to chip way easier. Way easier. And so far, that has been the case. Areas of the paint on the die-cast, or the painted die-cast, have been chipping off. And I posed this thing pretty pretty often. I've had it for a little while now, and this continues to be one of my favorite figures, and so of course I want to pose it with everything. There is a little wear and tear that happens on this figure. What's this, like, little gnat doing? Get out of here, gnat. God, it's summertime in Colorado, and the bugs are out. Shout out Colorado fan. Now this brings us to the next portion, the arms. Oh, wait, quickly before I forget. There is another flight panel on his thigh that I didn't know about until way late. And this one's hard to get to. I think they're all hard to get to, but this one's like, there we go. Now, it's not major. It's just right there on the side of the leg, but you can see the panel comes up. You can close it back into the leg. It's flush, so you really can't tell it's there. I didn't know it was there at first, and I thought the figure was broken. And I took another look, and I was like, holy smokes, there's another flight panel. So here we have a flight panel under the thigh. You can see there's more. There's like ventilation and sculpt work right there, so really, really nice. Closes up right there. Yeah, I love these hidden panels, these flight panels. You saw the flight panels, you see that it extends downward with the hips, and that of course looks very unnatural. That's more for range of motion, for like kicks and leaps, like he's a ballerina, but he's not. So when you have an extended hip like that, it's really for an extended range in your legs, or to do some poses like that. So let's go ahead, get those back in the socket. And then what we're going to do is extend the core. Look at that. So it does look a little gappy, and this shifts up and down. But if you look at the back, they continued the sculpt work. And what I mean is, when it's closed, I mean, how many silver lines do you see? 1, 2, 3, 4 silver lines. When I, oh, wrong piece. When I extend the core, there's silver lines waiting underneath, so they continued that sculpt work, making it look, first off, really tall, and second off, really nice. Now, they did not continue that sculpt work in the front. There's gappage where you can see through the figure, and I'm not sure why. Why would you leave gappage? It looks so good in the back. You couldn't do that for the front. Maybe it's because they wanted one of these. That is ab crunch. So metallic ab crunch, moving towards the front of the figure and then leaving the spine exposed. So I guess maybe that's why you would do something like that and put a hand up and kind of have him, you know, flying backwards and away or something like that, to have, you know, the ab crunch, and then you have the spine looking like that. So the figure does extend. I'd say maybe it adds a 1/4 inch. Not a ton, but enough for movement in that hip. Now, there's a little bit of hip swivel. I don't want to push it. I really don't. This thing moves really well, so when something isn't moving really well on it, I feel like I don't want to force it. So there we have a little bit of upper torso movement, a little bit. If anything, I think it's just play and not actually supposed to do that. Let's take a look at, gosh, the head. The head has a very limited range. That's as far left as it goes. That's as far right. This is the range right here. So I'm going as far to every edge as I can, including up. And if I can show you, the head comes off. And there's a little port right there, like a little electric port, and you look inside, and you have some exposed electronics. So don't feel bad that your head popped off. It happens, and there's actually a port that shows you where it should go. It comes on and off. It's designed to do that. You didn't break your figure. It does that. But just make sure that you have it going into the port. If not, you don't want to damage what is in there by just kind of ramming it in there and guessing where you're plugging it in. Don't do that. You will wreck your electronics, and this is not something I think that you can just take to Geek Squad. Looking at the wrists are on a ball joint, and this is one of the least favorable parts of this figure. They are kind of an extended ball joint, so you get a lot of like floppy, unnatural movement. which is fine. That's not the part that bothers me. The part that bothers me is when you go to port hands on, that this becomes really, really difficult. First off, one of my pegs split. I don't know if you can see. Oh, sorry. I don't know if you can see, but there is a line that runs up the peg because it's actually two pieces that come together. And on this side, you know, you see the, right there. That's where they connect. That's one piece going through a hole to get to the other piece. And it split on me while switching hands. The hands it came with are really easy to switch on and off because of the peg. As you can see, the paint is chipping around the peg, and these are the easiest hands to port. But as you can see, like, that's just gonna happen. So you can try to make it straight, but if you're not completely 100%, it's gonna flop around all over. Now that went on really easily. These are really loose peg holes. All the other hands are not so forgiving. They're not so easy. They're actually very difficult and frustrating. They're very frustrating to change. Which is disappointing because it comes with so many cool hands and like the blast effect and all that. So let's continue to look at the hand and wrist. Every hand has a little, there's a panel right there on the wrist that flaps. They all do that. Every hand has a panel on the wrist that flaps. You can take off the forearm piece, and that part looks like it was glued on extra. So there's like exposed glue. It is supposed to do this. You do get a rocket accessory that only fits on this arm. It is not a universal socket, and it only fits on one side. Which is really weird that they would only give us one side with that rocket arm. So I'm going to leave this panel off because I do feel like we are going to use the rocket arm. Looking at the elbows are double jointed. So what I mean by that is that you can start the bend right there, and then once it stops, you can continue the bend with this portion. So there's two joints in the elbow. You see there's a joint there where it goes all the way back, and then you can extend that one back as well. So it gets really good bicep movement. What it's not good for is the paint. So right in here, you can again already see that we have paint chipping. You see the silver through the red? That is just chipping paint right there. There's nothing else but chipping paint. And so you see that there's an upper bicep swivel right there. The sculpt on this is incredible. You see that there is a type of ball joint right there at the end. And here's what I mean by extend. The shoulders are extended outwards right now, and you can see the shoulder pad goes up. It looks a little gappy, but you can kind of lay it down and you can twist it. This is on a ball peg, so you can kind of use that to mask your angle if you're taking pictures. See some really nice paint application here. I think overall paint application is sweet, but the fact that it chips is not. So there we have, kind of you have to work the side of that joint to make it rotate all the way. And then here's what I mean by extended. So these shoulders are extended. I'm going to push this one in. Hold on, it's not going. There we go. So now it's really in there, and you can't really see that exposed piece. I'm just going to kind of pull it out. It's not very easy to do. Oh, that does that. Don't worry about that. Yeah, so as you can see, it wasn't very easy to pull the shoulder back out. And you can kind of see that soft gray area, but I'm going to push it back in one more time. I just don't know why it's so difficult to do right now. And for me, honestly, to get it out, I have to like push the arm down against the side. So I don't love this. You know, this is $100 figure. That is a lot of work. And so with that kind of difficulty, you change the hands. And so you saw this plastic shoulder piece pop off. That's fine. I'd rather have something pop off than straight up break on me. They are labeled left and right shoulder, but now my hands are sweaty, so this is extremely hard to do. You know what? Maybe we'll just use this as an opportunity. You see that hole right there? right there. That's the port for the rocket launcher. You get 2 rocket launchers. Let me take these out of the package, and they don't work very well at all. You can't get the shoulder pad on with the rocket launcher and display it without pointing it straight up in the air. And you saw earlier that Iron Man can't even look there. So, what's he pointing at? Don't know, can't see it. Okay, so really quick, here are a couple of, and they're the same. They're the exact same rocket launcher on both sides. But there they are. Little teeny tiny. Looks really good. But just, you know, it ports well. Kind of. And you have to really like push it flush. And then it just doesn't fit with this on there. As you can see, on this shoulder, there's no way to even see that hole unless you turn it like that. And then it looks ridiculous. So I think it was a really good idea and just very poor execution. So the rocket launcher does not work well. I know you just want to just give us accessories, but like give us accessories that work. Comic Cave, you have some really cool stuff, but you gave us a little bit of unnecessary stuff, and I hope that over time things get only better because you started off really hot. This is really, really, really cool. I know this isn't the first Comic Cave figure. They had Iron Man figures before this. But just, here you go. This is kind of the difficulty of putting things back on, because all the ports are like ball joints, or all the things that can come on and off. So, yeah, real life, this is like what it's like to put this thing back on. It has to be at like the right angle, or else you can't do it, and it'll just kind of slip and slide. Is that it? Is that the right angle? Nope. One more? Alright, here we go. Nope. There we go. And I thought I broke it. Alright. So you've seen the arm movement. Actually, let's take a look at this shoulder joint now. And you can see that the shoulder pad, you can just kind of move it everywhere and wherever, but it doesn't look good in a position where you can attach the rocket launcher as well. I did tell you I would show you the forearm attachment. Let's go ahead and look at that. The hands are super difficult, and I would definitely show you what it's like to port them on, but it would add an extra 10 minutes to this video. I'm not even kidding. Not my favorite thing at all in the world. This, however, is the best accessory this thing comes with. This is the little rocket launcher, and the rocket is painted. It's very difficult to see, but it's there, it's painted, it's very nice. The colors are like a green, gray, and yellow stripes all around the tip. You can see it's housed in there. It looks really good. And even from the back, you can see, you know, there's a full missile in there. You can look straight through those holes. It's all sculpted. So I give lots of credit for that, because this is a great pose. Just to have it up like that, maybe like that. Now, I do wish this came with a flight stand. I think it's an injustice that it didn't, especially at the price point. Figures half that price are coming with flight stands. Especially if you're going to give us blast effects. So really quick, let's look at some blast effects before we get up out of here. And then show you the best part, the lights. So these are actually hand blast effects. They have different ports. The hands have a port that's shaped like the number L, capital, and the feet are just pegs. So they just peg in, they port in. But the hands have specific ports. So those port in really well. Even if I tap it right there, they don't want to come out. It's a deep port. So that actually looks cool. I like that. It just doesn't have a flight stand, and it makes it a very tall figure. So that's actually really nice. This scales really well with Marvel Legends. I picked up a Marvel Legends Captain America that I hope to be able to do a review for you soon. And it scaled really, really well. I liked it a lot. You saw all the flight panels. What you haven't seen, though, is the lights And the back of Iron Man, really quick, I do want to port a hand effect. I just want to show you this real quick. So here you can kind of see the L shape where there's a knob at the top inside by the thumb. And so they can only go one way. And they kind of go in at an angle. But yeah, that's what they look like on the hand. You can see it looks really nice. It's just impossible to port, and we'll try it, okay? We'll try it. Let's try it right here. Okay, that came off. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look. We're just going to have a straight peg, okay? We're not even going to use the fire. We're not even going to use the attachment. We're just going to try and port this regular normal type. Come on. Oh, dang it. See? Oh, did it again. Oh gosh, it takes an incredible amount of force to try and force that on. And it's not fun because it chips. So I feel like I'm like damaging the figure trying to get this hand on. And pulling it off is even worse. Pulling it off is what breaks the peg, is what separated the peg in the first place. I seriously have to like grease this thing up or something. Oh my gosh, I don't want to break it. I don't want to break it. I don't want to break it, so I'm just not going to do it. It's that difficult. Now watch this hand. Fisted hand, one that came on it. Oh, look at that! They all couldn't be that easy. So I might have to have somebody kind of expand the wrist peg hole a little bit. I don't know if that's a thing, but that struggle is not something I'm willing to put up with, especially when it makes my hands so sweaty. So now is a super, super crucial part of the review. Let's take a look at the back panels. Yes, there are back panels that pop up. Right there and right there. Like little wings. You can see under there. Really nice sculpt work. We're going to close that one. You can see what you don't see. So that one's closed. This one's opened. Yes, very nice. All right, and here we have the panel for the batteries. I don't remember how to open that. Oh, here we go. So you just stick your finger down here. Oh, there it goes. And you can hear that it is metal. There are the batteries. There's a switch. Let's go ahead and get this port back on. It just lays flush. Really nice. Guys, this figure is awesome. Minus the kind of weak choice of hands and the difficulty in which they go on and off with. But other than that, this is actually a really enjoyable, a really fun, a really nice figure. Let's go ahead and take a look at these lights. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill the lights, and this is part of the reason for the limited head movement, was that they needed it to stay still for the lights to be able to be connected. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill some lamps. And then we have one more light over here. All right. So that's kind of as dark as I can make it for now. Let's go ahead and check this out. There's a switch right here on the back. What we're going to do is we're going to flip the switch up. You can already see over there on the wall, it's projecting that light. This thing is insanely bright. Like, way unnecessarily bright. Like crazy bright. But when you display it at night and you turn off all the lights, it looks so crazy. This thing hurts my eyes. It hurts my face to look directly at that light. It is that powerful, no joke. I'm going to try and turn off one more light. This thing is insane. This thing is so bright. Do you see this? Like, I really can cast my shadow back there. Hey, what are you doing over there? You can see it kind of lights up the face mask, and you get a little bit of gappage showing, but when you turn the figure off, it's all painted. And it does work if you pull the head off. I just don't want to do that. Look at that light. I mean, seriously, that shine is insane. It goes for a very long while. You could use this at your home like a flashlight. So that is the light effect on Iron Man. Mark 43, Comic Cave Studios. What do you think of this figure? It's a $100 figure. It's a Barnes & Noble exclusive. You can find it on Amazon, but you can't find it in stores. And if you can find it in stores, I highly suggest picking it up and becoming more skillful at it than I, because I don't have the Iron Man skills. You can see that even, so it does flicker a little bit, mine does, but that's because I've turned it on and off. It could be a battery thing. But as you can see, I'm only using a finger. It's still on, but if I tap it, it flickers a little bit. So that's concerning that mine flickers. But if you turn it on and off like really good, it stays on and it's fine. Like, you can shake it around. It's only when you mess with the switch. So there's something back here with the component that when you touch it, you just tap it and, you know, it does that stuff. And I'm wiggling the switch, so there's some play in the switch. This is the best 6-inch representation of an Iron Man that I've ever seen. You see right there, now it's giving me some trouble. And it'll kind of run through its levels of brightness. That's not as bright as it can go. That's closer. And so the lights do extend up into the eyes. You can kind of see a light bulb in there. It's kind of difficult to see, but man, this is an incredible figure. I highly recommend it. If you can find it for MSRP or less, jump all over it. The paint job, the sculpt, the weight in hand, how it feels in your hand will make it all worth it. You won't even care about those other accessories. 75% die cast, all of those hidden flight panels, a lot of fun to pose it with all the flight panels up. Great interchangeable hands. Too bad I can't get them on there. Too bad about the chipping of the paint. I don't think there's anything we can do with that, except be careful. This is an adult collectible, not intended for children. So what did you think of Iron Man? I wish it came with a flight stand. I really, really did. But other than that, this is a really nice figure. I like the light. Maybe we'll turn the light back on. If it'll stay bright. Will it stay bright? Okay. Light is on bright. It's hard to see the eyes, especially with all of this light, but you can kind of see it through that one eye. There's one bulb in there that lights up the whole helmet. You can extend that core. Give it a little bit of a crunch. Right. Extend that foot. Drop that down a little bit. A flying, blasting, posed Iron Man. I mean, this thing is legit. This really is like a 6-inch Hot Toy. This might be one of my favorite non-Mezco figures. I think this figure makes it into my top 5. Just figure alone. Forget the accessories. Forget the sometimes shoddy electronics, although right now it's not flickering at all. Of course not. Forget the paint chipping. Forget the accessories. This is a great figure. Without those, this is an A+ figure. So to me, it's an A. Hard to find. Great retail price for it. I love this figure. What do you think here on Roman Rose Collectible Coliseum? I know what I think, but tell me in the comments, what do you think of this figure? Do you think it's worth $100? And don't you wish those accessories worked just a little better? As always, my name is Roman, and thank you for watching Roman Rose Collectible Coliseum. Till next time, peace, love, and keep on collecting.